窓際のサティの袋の中に多分ある。こんばんは、チルです。聞こえますかね。前回は、推理がかなり難航してしまってギブアップしちゃったんですけど、ちょっと、攻略情報見ちゃいました。B の事件、2番目の事件の、婚約し、被害者の婚約者が精神的に弱りきっていて、毎日悪夢にうなされるんだっていうことを言ってきたので、その悪夢について推理するところからスタートします。この緑色のスーツを着た人がそうですね。ドナルドだそうです。ドナルドが見た夢をどう解釈するか。で、攻略情報によると、これだ。まず全部外します。ややこしいのでね。違う。 と、ミーガンを殺さない。夢の中では、ドナルドはミーガンを殺していないですね。で、ドナルドはベティが好き。ですよね。で、ドナルドはミーガンが好き。あんまり納得いかないけど。この好きだっていうのは、そういう恋愛感情じゃない感じの好きだと思うんですけど。あ、進んだ。
Mr. Fraser, I think that the real meaning of this dream is that you are in love with Megan Barnard.
音が出てない。
Please go on. Do.
This dream certainly betrays your guilt.
Oh.
But what do you feel guilty about? Having killed your fiancé? Possible. Or forgetting her very quickly for her sister? Certainly. And this forgetting is perceived as a second death.
So you don't really think I was the one who killed Betty?
I do not exclude this theory. I am simply saying that I do not need to know that fact to explain your dream and your guilt.
Thank you for being frank, Mr. Poirot. You've helped me a great deal. I'm going back to Bexhill. I'll not take any more of your time up.
It is late, Mr. Fraser, and you are tired.
I'll sleep on the train. I like trains. It's easy to sleep rocked by the sound of the wheels.
Poor boy, he seems completely lost.
Well, women seem to like him. I think Megan will take care of him. Oh, I remember. Did you order the product I needed?
Yes, we'll be receiving it tomorrow.
Bien, it is late, and I asked Miss Gray to come tomorrow morning. I have a few questions I wish to ask her.
Miss Gray. 誰だったかな?
Mademoiselle, I asked you here in order to answer a very important question.
C の事件のC の事件の、被害者の秘書だった人で、被害者の弟さんに無理やり迫られて、あと被害者の奥さんからもよく思われてなかったので、とどまってほしいって弟さんに言われたけど、もらったプレゼントとか全部返して、やめて出て行っちゃった人ですね。事件当日に彼女が誰とも会っていないことを確認する。特に嘘はついてなさそうだったし、本人どうした？まあとりあえず四角で。
Am I right in thinking you said that you did not speak to anyone on the day Sir Carmichael was murdered?
It's the absolute truth.
Yet, Lady Clark maintained that she saw you talking to a stranger on the front doorstep.
Really? She must have been mistaken. Oh, I remember now. I'd forgotten all about it, but it wasn't important. It was just a salesman. One of those traders who sell stockings from door to door.
Can you describe him to me?
Medium size. Glasses. Dark suit and a felt hat. Not the sort of man you notice. Completely harmless. That's why I forgot all about him.
Nothing else?
He was very hesitant and shy. Usually door-to-door salesmen are very confident. But he wasn't.
本当かな? Uki さん、いらっしゃいませ。今、リアリティと YouTube 同時配信しております。もしミステリーに興味がおありだしたら見ていってください。ポイントだけでもどうぞご自由にお持ちくださいね。被害者の弟に迫られて嫌で出てったから、三角はあっ ってると思うんですよね。チャーストンを去ることについて嘘は特についていないと思う。出ていくことも怪しくないと思う。どれも。いいね、ありがとうございます。すいません。最後盗み聞きしたんですよね。盗み聞き、言い方悪い。
You did not leave Churston willingly, I believe.
I don't wish to lie. Lady Clark did not appreciate my presence. And Franklin cannot go against the wishes of a sick lady. He is a good man, and he worries a great deal about his sister-in-law.
I noticed that you left some personal belongings behind at Churston.
取りに戻ることは絶対ないと思う。まあ、骨董品価値が高かったから、売ればお金になるんだろうけど、それこそリスクが高いと思うので、×にします。
It was too risky for you to keep these objects, am I correct?
Risky? What was the risk?
なんか、謝ったかな。凶器ではないでしょう。あの探検は、確かに、凶器かもしれない。4つ揃ってるはずの探検のうちの1つを彼女が持ってたんですよね。で、現場に凶器は、確か残されていなかった。で、被害者は喉元を剣で切られていたので、凶器かな。呪いってなんじゃそりゃって感じですよね。レディ・クラークが盗んだと言い張るだろう。でもなレディ・クラーク、被害者の奥さんは癌を患っていて、もうね、意識を維持するのも難しいぐらいモルヒネを打ってたんでね。近く。
It would have been really risky keeping the murder weapon on you.
The Chinese dagger? It would have broken with the first blow. I used it as a letter opener.
Bien. I must ask you one last question. Please reply frankly with either yes or no. If Lady Clark had died, would you have agreed to marry Sir Carmichael if he'd asked you?
How dare you ask such a question? Sir Carmichael treated me just like his daughter. And all that I ever felt him was affection and gratitude, nothing else.
Thank you, mademoiselle. I will not keep you any longer.
I met Thora Gray on the stairs. Her cheeks were ablaze, and she appeared to be deeply hurt. Poirot, have you offended the poor girl again? Do you have good reasons for accusing her?
I accused her of nothing, Hastings. I simply asked her an important question she did not answer. Let us see if we can answer it for her. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
もう難しい。ソーラはカーマイケル卿被害者が生きていたら結婚したかどうか。フランクリンって弟さんなんですよね。好きじゃなかったと思うんだけど、なんだろう、好意的な発言はしてたけど、そうか。私勘違いしてたな。プレゼントしたのは全部カーマイケル卿だったのか。 私フランクリンがだと思ってた。なあ。で、わかんないな、もう。これはそうだったよね。まあ、親子関係みたいな感じだったって手紙にも書いてあったしね。親密だった。はい。いや、答えてたよね。え。これ入れていいのかな。あ、だよね。違うよね。あ、また詰まっちゃったかも。もう。三角は合っている気がする。あ、なんか。ダメか。やばい、やばい。ヒント欲しい。誰かヒントくれそうな人来ないかな。これは違うと思ってるんだけど、私迷う方の名探偵だからな。これ親密って親子系も含む？いやー、バチってこない。ブローチ関係なさそうかな。なんか一個でも合ってたらそれだけ教えてほしいな。むずい。ちょっと待って、1回リセット。2回目のリセットだね。 欲的でしょ。わかんない。ちょっと攻略サイト見ちゃおうかな。ちょっと待ってくださいね。待って、その選択肢さっき入れた気がする。やばいな。 ああ、攻略見ちゃいました。でも、これが違うのか。あ、間違えちゃった。そうなの？
You must know how to read between the lines, Hastings. When Sir Carmichael refers to paternal affection, he's lying to himself. Read this engraving on the brooch. A dark dragon for an angel with glossy hair. These are the words of a lover, not a father. Lady Clark was not wrong.
What if Sir Carmichael had fallen in love with his secretary? That doesn't mean that she forced him to do so.
True, there are extenuating circumstances. She is a penniless orphan. But she's calculating. Just look how she avoided it when asked if she would have married Clark.
I see. You think she seduced Sir Carmichael for her own gain, and that now she is doing the same with his brother. Poirot, your world is a very dark place.
Do not get carried away, mon ami. We have another more important matter to settle.
Really?
Yes. Would you believe that Miss Grey taught me something new? Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
その他にそれぞれの殺人事件に共通点はあるか？これは1件目の A の殺人事件ですね。タバコ屋さんの女店主が殺されました。店に価値のあるものはありませんでしたね。で、アッシャー夫人の私物、ストッキングと会計簿。あ、ストッキング？これか。2番目の人もね、お母さんにストッキング買っといてって言ってるんですよね。
It's perfectly clear, Hastings. Perfectly clear. Indeed, a stocking seller visited Andover, Bexhill, and Churston on the day of each murder. We have our suspect. This should be of interest, Jop.
電話しましょう。電話。
Chief Inspector, we are looking for a stocking salesman.
I see you have a suspect?
Yes. Contact all the stocking wholesalers who may employ him.
なるほどね。
Your suspect is a salesman?
No, he does not take orders. He sells door to door.
Right. The hunt is on.
なるほどね。あ、ストッキング。あ、こいつ。
Are you leaving, Mr. Cust?
Yes, I'm going to Cheltenham.
You shouldn't travel today. You don't look very well.
I have to. I have engagements. I must respect them.
なんか、この人自身も体どっか悪いような感じ？
Can you get the post, Hastings?
And why don't you go and get it yourself?
お前女子だからだよ。
What's going on? I've never known Hastings to be so disagreeable.
ヘイスティングスはね、女の人の味方なんでね、多分、これまでの3件の事件で、ポアロが女性に強く当たりすぎたので機嫌を損ねているんだと思います。おそらく。来たか。ABC 殺人事件から3件で終わるのかと思った。
I'm quite sorry for you. If at first you don't succeed, try again. We've a long way to go still. Typery? No, that comes later. Letter T. Next little incident will take place in Doncaster on September 11th. So long, ABC. I should compare this letter with the one on my desk, which I received earlier, to see if it does indeed come from the same person.
小文字の W と A に特徴があるタイプライター。あと、待って、カーソルが迷子に。
It is not the right time.
今日何日なの？あ、これも関係ないの？ねえ、ヘイスティング教えて、今日何日？
Hastings, it would appear that you are getting slightly thin on top.
ひどい。
Really? I hadn't noticed.
こういうのは言ってあげた方がいいのかな。なかなか指摘できないけども。あ、座れる？もしかして。なんかちょっと机高くない？しかも座って終わりかよ。なんで2枚目と比べるんだろうね。1枚目とだったら。
Let us examine this more closely.
わ。
Certain characters in the two letters may have similar defects. Yes, this I is weird. Right. Let us compare this with the other letter. Yes, the I characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar defects to confirm my theory. Yes, the A appears to be quite unusual. Right. Let us compare this with the other letter.
Yeah.
That's right. The A characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar defects.
W 探すのが一番大変だよ。
The W is not printed properly. Right. Let us compare this with the other letter.
ちっちゃい W。あ、ここにあった。
Of course, the W characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. My theory was right. These two letters were written with the same typewriter. Hastings, he strikes tomorrow. Chief Inspector Japp?
He's on another line. Can I take a message?
Yes, please, mademoiselle. It is from Hercule Poirot. Tell him ABC strikes tomorrow in Doncaster. He must call me back.
Very well, sir.
Bien, now I'm going to see what I can find from these burnt documents. I've received the product I need. Hastings, if you do not mind, I would like you to take a few notes.
Yes.
機嫌悪い。どこでやるんだろう。あ、待って。これなんだ。あ、はい。観察。
If someone has tried to get rid of these documents, they may be important.
薬品を先にもらわなきゃダメかな。あ？なんか真ん中にマッチ棒みたいなのがある。気のせい。なるほど。薬品ください、ヘイスティング。
So, how are you getting on? I'm ready to take notes.
あ、はい。お薬はどこにあります？待って、こんなしょうもないところでつまずかないでよね。
I've finished with this subject.
もう用ありません。冷たいな、なかなか。 薬はないんだけど、これ新聞昨日読んだってか、前回の配信で読みました。あれでもなんか、新聞、そうか。
Royal Mathematical and Statistical Society's Bulletin, September the 9th, 1935. The Alphabet Murder, a Methodical Madman. It's highly probable that the alphabet murderer will kill again. Could we possibly estimate the number of victims in his next crime? Yes, and it is easy. As soon as we know the ratio of towns, cities and villages whose names begin with a D and the ratio of English people whose names are spelled the same. On the one hand, the ratio of towns, cities and villages in England with a name starting with... After this initial calculation, it is easy to deduce the likely... Go to the last page to find out. Daily Blag, August 31, 1935. Moustache at half-mast. Poirot's repeated failure in ABC case. Sometimes small things trouble great men. Hastings, faithful collaborator of the Belgian detective, knows something about it. 3 mornings in a row, confided to us, the cook broke the egg yolks when preparing Poirot's breakfast. This apparently casual event has greatly disturbed my friend, to the point it breaks his concentration and slows his judgment. I also noticed his mustache, of which he is so proud, being duller than usual.
Poirot, I assure you I haven't said any such thing to the journalists. They twist everything.
待って。何すればいいの？どこにあるの薬？なんかね、ちぎって、燃やされた紙くずがあって、頭良くない。そう、それでね、
Hastings photo album.
見たなぁ。左のメガネの下に書かれている数字が、調べるところ、ヒントの数なんだけど。
Devon, population 500 inhabitants. Hourly of trains. London, Churston. Trains of evening. London, 6:45 p.m. Newton about 11 a.m.
そう、その目のこれなんだけど。
If someone has tried to get rid of these documents, they may be important.
そう、これをね、なんか復元できる薬品があって、それを、今日届いたっぽいんですよね。でもなんか薬品もらってないし、こうやって調べても、もう進まないし。こんなしょうもないどうでもいいところで詰まる？こっちは、
Poor Mr. Poirot. I'm quite sorry for you. If at first you don't succeed, try again. We've a long way to go still. Typery? No, that comes later. Letter T. The next little incident will take place in Doncaster on September 11th. So long. ABC.
なんかね、助手のね、ヘイスティングさんが、注文しといてくれてて、
Now, down to work.
これだった。やだ。
What of this needs putting in order a little?
また ややこしそうな。まあ、とりあえずアップで見ましょう。じゃあ、パズルの法則で、どうやるのかな。あ、これ、待って。こうやって一時くっつけていくの？いやいや。待って。これでしょ？あ、はーい、いってらっしゃい。音符ありがとう。またねー。ありがとね。あれ？くっつくところから出ないとダメなのかな？いや、違うだろ。ぴったりくっつくのかな？燃えているからくっつかないよね。これ合ってんだ。もう動かせなくなっちゃった。本当？あ、こんなちっちゃいメモなの？あ、そうなんだ。
This page will be reconstructed in a flash.
ああ、もっとなんか大きい A4 ぐらいの
I think that
紙
this
に
is
なる
right.
と思ってた。
This page is finished. That's done. 3 more to go.
じゃあこっちから。なんか被ってるけど大丈夫なのかな。なんかパズルにしてもあまりにも適当な感じ。
This page is finished. And that's 2 done. It's easier than I thought.
思っていたよりも簡単です。そうか。
This page will be reconstructed in a flash. This page is finished. Only 1 more. Keep going.
もはや角っこですらないんだけど、これ。これちょっと燃えすぎじゃない？ダメか。違うよね。とりあえず、これが、これかな。違うの？こんな上に大きな石ね。ここか？あ、そうか。結構、あれだわ。正確に置かないとダメだった。
This piece should be placed here.
待って。これは絶対ここでしょ。
This page is finished. All the pages are reconstructed. 何が出るかな。
なんか作業すんの？これを、違う。じゃあ紙に
A bottle of solvent.
あ、なるほど。あれ、回せない。え？待って。
A dry cloth.
乾いたの。
A bottle of solvent.
これ？ちょっと待って。なんで？
A bottle of solvent.
そんなしょうもないところで。かけて？じゃあ、これを、持てない。
A dry cloth.
ちょっと待って。これなくない？どうしたらいいんですか？ここにね。あ、よかった。やっぱ影を見ないとダメだったんだね。
The cloth is now soaked with solvent.
はいはい。あれ？拭くの
？Got it! Make a note, Hastings, make a note. Mrs. Alice Asher, shop owner in Andover. Tracheitis, hemoptysis, prescribed laudanum.
I got it. Look.
1件目の A の事件の被害者さんですね。
Poirot, where on earth did you find these files?
On a fire at the bottom of the garden at Comside.
All right, but where did the person who burned them
こ
find
れ
them?
カルテかもしかして。
Alice Asher, shopkeeper in Andover. Tracheitis, hemoptysis, chronic cough with loss of blood. Prescribed laudanum-based cough medicine. Betty Barnard, waitress in Bexhill. Chronic bronchitis causing dysphonia. Advised to stop smoking. Alexander Bonaparte Cust. While wounded, mustard gas and head trauma. Pulmonary emphysema. Hemoptysis. Coughing fits with blood. Suffers from absences and amnesia. Dick Dudley Dunbar, owner of the Black Swan Hotel in Doncaster. Asthmatic, heart disease, heart condition. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
誰かわかんないんだけど、後半の2人。出てないな。焼け焦げた書類はどこから来たか。おそらく3番目の被害者の家なんだけども。被害者全員は喉の疾患に関連している。はい。あ、よかった。
The burned documents are medical records and without a doubt they come from Clark's archives. First of all, because all the patients have throat conditions. And secondly, their name starts with either A, B, C, or D. And it is precisely the files that match these letters that have been tampered with.
But why burn these files? How come the names of the 2 victims appear on them? And who are the 2 other patients?
These are very good questions.
もしかして C の名前ついた人は、たまたま喉の 専門医だったドクターが殺されたけど、実際に会われた人は違うってことかな。とりあえず電話に出ましょう。警部からですね。
Hello, Poirot?
Any news, Chief Inspector?
You wanted a stocking seller? We have one. Reported by his landlady who thought he was behaving suspiciously. He has the most unbelievable name.
Eh. さっきの名前覚えてない。でも、驚くってことは、次の D の町に住んでる D から始まるディックさんかな。
Dick Dudley Dunbar.
You're wrong. He's called Alexander Bonaparte Cust. ABC. It's a serious lead. I called Doncaster. A person matching Cust's description has been seen at the station. He got off the train from London, but after that, nobody knows where he went.
Look for him at the Black Swan Hotel.
What? How do you know he's there?
Trust me, Chief Inspector.
Trust me.
You appear to be very sure of yourself. Very well. I'll call the Black Swan straight away. The owner is going to get a shock when he learns that there's a murderer under his roof.
Do your best, Jap.
You can count on me.
Do your best.
Hastings, everything is at stake. With a little luck, our main suspect will soon be under lock and key.
Oh?
So, has Cust been arrested?
Yes, the Doncaster police are sending him by train.
That is good news. But why so gloomy, Chief Inspector?
Well, when I told the hotel owner that he was sheltering a murderer, he collapsed.
He's dead?
No, fortunately, but it has taken its toll on him. It has to be said that with his name starting with the letter D, he had every reason to fear Cust. I bet he was going to be the next victim.
Hmm. 私がちゃんとメモの内容を覚えていなかったばっかりに。
Chief Inspector, I believe that I share responsibility for this incident.
What do you mean?
I saw Mr. Dunbar's medical records. His heart was weak. I should have warned you.
It's very honest of you to tell me that, Poirot. I appreciate your gesture.
Please keep me informed of his progress.
You can count on me. I'll do what's needed.
I will visit him at his bedside when the killer is caught.
That's typical of you, Poirot. We should focus on the next part of the investigation in order to avoid other incidents. While we're waiting to question Cust, we could search his room in London.
Where does he live?
The Marbury Guest House.
I'll see you there.
Yes, but start without me. First of all, I have to sort out a few details for Cust's transfer.
I understand. À bientôt. Hastings, we are making good progress. Please go and search the room of our number one suspect.
With pleasure. I did have a dentist appointment, but I'll cancel.
The dentist. So that is why you were so nervous and bad-tempered.
A visit to the dentist is never an enjoyable prospect.
But an unavoidable one. Go to your appointment, Hastings. I will manage on my own.
助からん。ヘイスティングさん。ヘイスティングスさん。
To Marbury Guest House, please.
Marbury Guest House で降ろされた。Marbury Guest House。ここにいるの？でも、 目の前にいるのに、ニンニンって鳴らす？
It looks like I've found the real master of this house.
猫ちゃん。あれ
？There is no need to worry about the household cat. I'm sure that Mrs. Marbury lets it do what it pleases.
How do you do? You must be Mr. Hercule Poirot. Chief Inspector Jupp told me that you might be coming.
同じ女の人に見える。
Madame, you may be of valuable help to me.
It would be my pleasure to help you. Will there be some journalists there as well?
I think you might even be interviewed. You are a key witness.
I've suspected him for some time, but he appeared so harmless. Oh yes, sometimes he got angry and waved his arms about. But even then, he wasn't frightening. And he was as gentle as a lamb again immediately afterwards. It was only this morning that I understood. He told me he was going to Cheltenham. But my daughter saw him at Euston Station. It's not the right station. To get to Cheltenham, you have to take the train from Paddington. And what's more, Mr. Cuss left behind an ABC with Doncaster underlined.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, when I saw that, I called Scotland Yard.
鉄道案内の件は、知らされてないんですよね。マスコミに。だから知ってるのは事件現場にいた人が第一発見者だけ。
One moment, please. How did you know that Cust had underlined Doncaster in his railway guide?
I went and had a look in his room.
I see. Do you make a habit of searching through your lodger's belongings?
Well, what are you going to do later? I bet you're going to poke around his room too.
Tell me, did you have any other reason to suspect Mr. Cust?
He's rather queer. He talks to himself. He has a bad cough. Because of the war, he says. And then he was in Churston when that millionaire got murdered. I found his train ticket when I washed his coat. He didn't want me to wash his shirt. He washed it himself. But I did see big brown stains on it.
待って。一人目は、そうだ、撲殺されたんだった。帰り血浴びてないのが不思議な感じはした。ただ、どこにあったのか聞いてみようかな。
Where were the stains on the shirt?
Can't recall.
Cust used to travel for his work. Is that correct?
Yes. Although he was unwell on trains.
Do you know where Cust was at the time of the murder in Andover and Bexhill? On June the 21st and July the 25th?
No idea.
But surely you keep a register.
It won't do you much good. Mr. Cuss rents his room for the year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it. Ah! I remember one thing. Bexhill's by the sea, right?
Indeed. It is a large seaside resort.
Well, as it happens, at the start of July, Mr. Cust asked me to repair his bathing dress. Suspicious, huh?
Very interesting. Please continue.
I also forgot to say that he started buying newspapers that talked about the case.
When did he start buying the newspapers?
Let's see. I think it was just after the millionaire's murder in Churston. He didn't seem all that interested before that.
That will be all for now. I'm going to take a look at his room.
Take the key on the counter.
I should check the register. Mrs. Marbury may have been hiding something from me.
I don't think my register will help you. Mr. Cuss rents his room all year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it.
逃げない？
The truth is becoming apparent, and I have something to say to Mrs. Marbury.
何も本当に普段の住人が不在の時は部屋を他の客にまた貸ししている？そんなのやだ。待て、もう一回調べたい。宿泊名簿。
I don't think my register will help you. Mr. Cuss rents his room all year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it.
The truth is becoming apparent, and I have something to say to Mrs. Marbury.
わかんない。今の見てわかる？なんか。ちょっとよくわかんないけど、スクショ撮ってみようか。
I don't think my register will help you. Mr. Cuss rents his room all year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it.
The truth is becoming apparent, and I have something to say to Mrs. Marbury.
全然わかんないけど。なんでこんなさっと片付けてしまうのかしら。とりあえず部屋に行きましょうかね。こっち先に見たいな。見れないか。カウンターでじゃがいもの皮を剥くやる。どうそうなんだけど。
It is a very beautiful piano. Maybe Mrs. Marbury likes to play in her free time. I have something to say to Mrs. Marbury.
さっきのね、手帳のね、また貸ししてますねって言わなきゃいけないのか。
Mrs. Marbury, if I am to believe the register, you rented room 306 to a certain Mr. Fishman on the day of the Bexhill murder. Room 306 is Cust's room. Can you explain yourself?
If I did, it was because Mr. Cust wasn't here. What about it?
年単位で借りているのに、そこの部屋、空いている時に貸すっていうのは、ちょっと、おかしいよね。
You rented the same room to two people. That's fraud.
Calm down, Mr. Poirot. My lodgings were full and I couldn't let poor Mr. Fishman sleep outside.
そうじゃねえよ。こんな状態の部屋を人に貸す？何の薬か
な？ Laudanum Cameron's Chemists. Laudanum, a medicine for coughs. It is what Dr. Clark prescribed for Mrs. Asher. This subject would probably be useful to me.
手って押収した。
Diethyl barbituric acid, Johnson Company. I know this medicine. It is a powerful sedative. This subject would probably be useful to me.
鎮静剤。あ、タイプライター。
How hopeful. This place is a real mess.
みすぼらしいコート、ひどいな。あと一個か。
The least we can say that Mr. Cust is not very concerned about order and balance. Did Cust drop it when he opened the window? Or was it Mrs. Marbury while she was cleaning?
液体のインク使うの？タイプライターって。
I have to get the ribbon. How am I going to do it?
あれ、違う。でも、この愛。
Something is blocking the ribbon.
確実なんだけどね。宿主の可能性があるよね。
The ribbon is jammed. I have to start by freeing it.
タイプライター使ったことないからわかんないよ。回らない。あ、また。
The right-hand heel has been removed.
あ、両方外すのかな。
The left-hand heel has been removed.
あ、違う。でも、先にインクリボンを取り外さないとって出たっけ。あ、言ってた。
And here is the ribbon. Let us see if it was indeed used to write the letters sent by ABC. I only need the ink ribbon for my inquiry. I will let Jack clean the keyboard if he wishes. All the letters announcing the murders were written on Cust's typewriter.
カストのタイプライターかどうかはわからないよね。あの女主人でもいける。
John Milligan, Managing Director, Silky Legs, Frederick Street, Leicester. To A.B. Cust, Marbury's Guest House, 1935, May the 21st. Dear Sir, further to our letters dated 5th and 10th of the month, we confirm we are you as door-to-door salesman, according to the conditions stated in our previous letters. We will send you the articles by mail and also a Redfield typewriter you will be using for every business letter. Regarding the schedule of your rounds, please do as following. June 21, Andover. Arrive by train the 20th in the evening and get a room at Station Hotel. Start your turn in the north part of the town. This letter establishes that Cust went to Andover, but the ink has hidden the destinations of his other trips. I know from Mrs. Marbury that he went to Churston. I just have to show that he went to Bexhill, and I will have proved that he was present at all the crime scenes. It's an ABC. Cust is parsimonious. He keeps his pencils and sharpens them until there is nothing left. It is clear that he did not grow up in luxury.
まあ、真実だけど、ポアロって失礼な人だな。
A long-bladed knife, a murderer's weapon. This subject would probably be useful to me.
ガンガン物持ってくな。あ、めちゃめちゃ持ってんだけど、ABC 鉄道案内。
ABC guides, enough to sign about a dozen murders.
びっくりするわ。
It's closed.
これもでしょう、だって。
It's closed.
閉まってますはわかるけど。
It's closed.
あ。
This knife is very useful. Who knows? Maybe it never cut anything other than string.
凶器じゃないぞ。
Stockings.
どこ1個しか残ってなかったけど、なんで閉まってんの？こんなに私物に溢れてるのに。
Trousers, white shirts. Everything has been washed very well.
なんかあれだな。パンツ揃ってんな。
The Bexhill daily paper, dated from the day of the Bexhill murder. Most probably the basting dress repaired by Mrs. Marbury's expert hands. All the main articles referring to the ABC case are here, from the Churston murder onwards. Nothing before that date.
全部夫人が用意できるのに書かれてるかな。
War of 1914-1918. By the King's order, the name of Corporal A.B. Cust, Devonshire Regiment, was published on the London Gazette on May the 10th, 1918, as mentioned in a dispatch for gallant and distinguished service. An army dispatch, wounded on the Somme front, victim of a gas attack. Corporal Cust greatly deserves his distinction.
なるほど。
It is not the right time.
さあ、まだ調べるところ残ってますか？コート？ベッド調べてないか。
The least we can say that Mr. Cust is not very concerned about order and balance.
引き出し？引き出し調べてない。見てないんだよな。また詰まった？部屋の捜索がまだ終わっていない。
ABC guides, enough to sign about a dozen murders. Stockings. It is not the right time.
あ、そうか。お薬とか調べてないもんね。 掃除っていうか指紋調べてもらいましょうみたいな。
I know this medicine. It is a powerful sedative. Laudanum, a medicine for coughs. It is what Dr. Clark prescribed for Mrs. Asher. This key bears the number 306. This dark stain. It could be blood, but goodness knows how long it has been there. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
X ヒルで殺人事件が起こったとき、カストはどこにいたか。ほんとメモ取りながらやらなきゃダメだな。ベックスヒルで起こった事件。7月25日だっけ。いやー。これかなって思う。合ってたわ。
The register shows that Cust did not sleep at the guest house on the day of the murder. Where was he? Bexhill. The Bexhill paper reveals it. Cust bought this newspaper in Bexhill on July the 25th. No use continuing the inspection of this room. I've seen all there is to see.
Hi.
Goodbye, Mrs. Marbury. Thank you for your help.
I look forward to seeing you again, Mr. Poirot.
Ah, Chief Inspector. I was about to leave.
Good evening, Chief Inspector. Welcome. Please excuse me, I must go to the kitchen. I'll leave the key of Mr. Cust on the counter.
I'm sorry I'm late. I've spent ages with the Doncaster police. And you?
I have established one fact. On 3 occasions, Cust was at the scene on the day of the crimes.
本当かな？本当なの？あれ、お芋さん置いてあるけど。あれでないわ。これ、お芋さん。
No more need to consult the register.
あ、あれかな。推理しろって言われてる？違った。ジャック刑事と話せって。それにとってそれは。
I had best talk to Chap.
I've listened closely to what you have to say, Poirot. For me, there's no doubt Cust is guilty. Do you have any element that might prove the contrary?
That is what we're going to look for. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
この夫人が怪しいと思っているので、夫人の供述は当てにならないと思うけども、これがね、3人を殺すことができなかった理由な気がする。しかもあんなおじさんにね、ベティついていくかな。美人であちこちから声がかかるような年若いお嬢さんがよ、病気でなんか顔色悪いようなおじさんに誘われてついていく行かないよね。それと、これだからさ、フィッシャーマンだっけ？カストが部屋を開けてる時に泊まった人？その人も怪しかったりしない？いやー、普通に答えたらいいのかな、これ。違うな。シャーストンとベティが2番目の事件。これ1番目の場所だな。あ、合ってた。嘘。カストと殺人犯に共通する点。タイプライターでしょ？違う。でも、カストの速報は疑わしいか。可能性ね、可能性。でも、
The evidence against Cust is overwhelming. His presence at the scenes, the knife, the blood-stained shirt, the ABCs in a box.
C'est vrai. However, the blood Mrs. Marbury saw on Cust's shirt may have been his own. According to his medical records, he suffers from hemoptysis. The murderer cuts a Carmichael's throat from behind, and the blood spurted outwards. You would expect the murderer's shirt to be stained on the sleeves, not on the buttonholes. Yet we see quite the opposite. You would expect the murderer to keep the newspaper articles about his crimes. But Cust's collection starts in Cheston, as if it discovered the case rather late.
I agree it's troubling, but it doesn't change my mind. There's small details that we should be able to clear up by questioning Cust.
When can we talk to him?
Doncaster is sending him to us on the first train.
Are they questioning him already?
He says he can't remember a thing.
It's plausible. Doctors say he suffers from absences and amnesia. Mrs. Marbury has confirmed this.
He may have done the murders in an altered state.
A familiar situation.
It's not enough to clear his name. Dr. Thompson insisted that even if you don't know what you're doing, you never commit a murder without wanting to.
Très intéressant. I shall remember that.
Right. I'll go and examine the suspect's room.
Chief Inspector, I took the liberty of removing a few clues to examinatum.
All right, we'll discuss them tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to see if you've missed something.
まあ、古い時代のお話ですからね。
To Scotland Yard, please.
Mhm. こんな取り調べのところに犯人一人だけいて、壁に物貼ってあるって、なかなかね、自傷行為とか防ぐためにの、画鋲押しピンとかも取り除いておかなきゃいけないのにね。
This man is not in good shape.
やばいよ、頭。下がったね。あんまり開いてないってことかな。頭はごめんなさい。
He is worried and very tired, and other police have been hard on him.
What do you want from me?
多分、しがないストッキング売り屋さんだと思うんだけど。
Good day, Mr. Cust. I am Hercule Poirot.
Ah, you're the detective.
Yes, I am the person you have been sending the letters to.
I didn't write these letters. I've already said so.
パニスト屋さんが怪しいと思うんだよな。
Très bien. You did not hide these letters. But the question remains, who did?
Probably one of my enemies. I have many.
あれかな？戦争の後遺症かな？
I do not believe that you are capable of murder, Mr. Cust.
I hope not.
You suffered during the war.
It's true. I was wounded. I suffered. But the army was the only place I didn't feel inferior. No questions. Just orders to follow.
But ever since you were wounded, you have absences, bouts of amnesia.
And headaches.
Professor Clark treated you.
Yes, a few years ago he really helped me with my burned throat.
Of course, you never considered killing a doctor who took such good care of you.
No, never.
Do you deny being at the scene of the crimes?
So? There was no harm in being there. It was only for my work.
You were seen at all the crime scenes.
Yes, I was. I travel a lot. But not for pleasure. I am terribly unwell in trains. But I had to respect my engagements. My employer gave me very precise written instructions about the towns I had to visit.
Let's see. The company you claim to work for, Silky Legs, has never heard of you. And as for these letters they sent you, they were written on your own typewriter.
The company sent me the typewriter when I started working for them.
Yes, but the letters were received afterwards. So it would appear that you typed them before sending them to yourself.
I don't remember. Good God! I don't know what's happening to me. My head hurts terribly.
まだ尋問するの？かわいそう。ダメなの？はい、
Take this. It will help you.
とりあえず咳止めっていいと思うんだ。
Oh, I think I'll be fine.
Let us see, Cust. Look at me. You know very well that you committed these murders?
Yes, I know.
But I'm not wrong in saying that you do not know why you committed them.
No, I don't.
殺したの？本当？あ。
And what conclusions have you drawn?
Plenty. It might help us to understand him a little better. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
やだ。カストの健康状態についてわかることは多いな。滑血に苦しんでおり、咳をすると血を吐く。そうね。疑心加算だもんね、犯人。ハーストンでの事件がファストの犯行ではないと示す手がかりはあるか。あ、違うかな。人の犯行だと示さない手がかりはあるか。違う。これ？違う。 ると言えるか。あ、よかった。
I don't see any clearer than before. This is worse.
There is one point to highlight. C'est curieux. Cust admits that he killed, but he does not know why. What did Dr. Thompson say? Even if Cust killed while in an altered state, it still must have been his deepest desire. He must have had a motive.
Let's keep it simple. Never mind his motive. He confessed.
But you see, he can confess to anything and everything. He denied the murders and then he confessed to them. He confirmed that he never typed the letters. Then, with great ease, I managed to get him say quite the opposite.
Come on, he behaved like a guilty man. He lied to his landlady.
Because deep down he believes himself guilty. From the papers, he noticed that he had always been at the scene of the crimes. He must think that he killed and then simply forgot what he had done.
How can you be so sure?
Let us look at his psychological profile. You will understand my point of view. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
カストは知的か。待って、これ、もうすでにハマってる。魅力的じゃないっていうか、魅力が一切ない。ひどいな。列車好きか、いや。衝動的か？電話鳴ってるよ。ラストは寛大か。寛大の反対は貧乏症なのか？
You see? Cust's character is quite the opposite of the murderer's.
But if he's a madman, can we really talk about his character?
You know very well that our murderer does not behave like a psychopath. Apart from the signature, there is no ritual or repetition in the choice of victims.
Very well, you're right as always. So we have no confession, no culprit, no suspects, nothing. And all that after 2 months of inquiry? What should I do?
Have faith. Just give me 24 hours.
24時間で解決するって？あと2ヶ月もかかってたのに？抱っこする。
To White Heaven, please.
Cust's arrest is a great success for you, Poirot. It's all clear now, except maybe 1 or 2 details.
Details. Ah, mon ami. The devil is in the detail, as we say.
Excuse me?
Patience, Hastings. Everything will be clear once our guests arrive. Best be prepared. Slip a revolver into your pocket before they do.
A revolver? But Poirot, what are you afraid of?
Trust me. It is important you carry a weapon for this meeting. I will lend you mine.
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be able to play your role. Wait one moment, I will bring you my weapon.
Wow.
The white ammunition are blank cartridges. The others are real bullets.
こっちが方法かな?
The revolver is loaded with real bullets. I still have time to choose blanks.
待って。調べたら変えちゃうでしょ?
The revolver is loaded with blanks. I still have time to choose real bullets. The revolver is loaded with real bullets. I still have time to choose blanks.
まだ変えれるって言われたけど、勝手に画面閉じちゃった。
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be.
操作ついつい忘れてしまう。
Voila, I entrust you with my weapon. It has hardly been used. It is almost new.
ちゃんとメンテナンスしてるのかな。電話鳴ってる。
Chief Inspector, is that you?
Yes. Sorry, but we haven't found anything.
Have you checked the typewriter?
And the packaging, the letter, and the ribbon reel. We've only found prints left by Cust and his landlady.
Well, never mind. I shall make do.
So, are you still going to hold your meeting?
Of course, Chief Inspector. I can hear my guest coming up the stairs.
Why have you brought us here, Mr. Poirot?
Since Cust's arrest, I thought it was all done and dusted. Miss Gray formally identified him, as well as Miss Barnard.
Yes, and the stockings he saw drove the same brand as the ones found at my aunt's.
This is all true. However, a case is not closed if some questions remain open. And one question is, why did the murderer send me his letters? Why did he challenge me, Hercule Poirot?
Perhaps he wanted to play with you, to taunt you.
Xenophobia? Maybe he didn't like you because you're foreign.
I may be wrong, but maybe by provoking you, he was looking for glory?
All these theories should be studied. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
なぜ殺人犯は住所を間違えたのか。そうなの？調べてないのかな。へえ。これじゃないの。あ、よかった。これは違うと、あるな。いや。やっぱメールじゃない？違う。じゃあ劣等感？違う。 どういうこと？
Is everything clear now?
You might like to explain your reasoning again.
Of course. First of all, remember that the murderer made it a rule to always post his letter before the murder. He never digressed from that rule. However, in Churston, he encountered a problem. The village has only 500 inhabitants. With advance warning, it would be easy to arrest him. Therefore, the murderer delayed his letters deliberately with the wrong address. The plan wouldn't have worked if he'd sent it to Scotland Yard or the papers because everybody knows their addresses. The mistake would have been corrected and the letter would have been on time. That is why the murderer chose me as the recipient.
Because for his plan to succeed, it was necessary for at least one of the letters to have a wrong address and get lost. It was very cunning.
Absolument. It is a very subtle plan. It matches the profile we have drawn up of him perfectly. That of an intelligent, daring and calculating murderer.
But that's not how you describe Cust.
You are quite right, mademoiselle. Like you, I find it hard to believe that this dull character is the clever murderer we are looking for.
Do madmen... I mean, if he's mad, he might have two very different sides.
No doubt. But the murderer is not mad. All the specialists agree that he does not have the profile of the psychopath.
But if Cust is not guilty, how do you explain his presence at the scene of the crimes?
Mr. Clark, the answer to your question is in the medical records of your brother's patients. Documents which Cust most certainly did not have access to. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
またですか？カストについて分かっていることは、訪問販売員だった。違うの？そう当たりになってくるけど。あ、偶然ではないか。ちょっと待って。カストについてだよね。これは絶対に違う。これカストについてじゃないのね。これとまあ、あ、電車に乗ってたから採用されたかな、ファースト会社。てか、これは違うなって思ったやつを選択肢から外せれたらいいのにな。これと、 違うの？ああ、わかんない。また攻略を見ちゃいました。なんか次の質問で使う選択肢が分かったらさっきので迷わなかったなぁ。違う。泳ぎたかったからなわけないよね。総当たり戦になってんだけど、これでってかこっちが合ってないってことだよね。違う、それは違ったから。もうね、頭が疲れてきました。攻略動画じゃなくなってきて。
Dr. Clark's patient's records provided a very useful list of potential victims. sorted by alphabetical order. The killer definitely used it, explaining the fact that all the victims were former patients of the doctor. It is this fact that clears Cust once and for all, because he never had access to these records. So how did he happen to be at the scene of the crimes? Either the murderer sent him there, or Cust was following him closely. Cust's highly suggestible nature leads us to the second hypothesis. The murderer was manipulating him. He systematically sent Cust to the towns where he was going to strike, so that the suspicion would land on the poor man's shoulder.
That's evil! What sort of killer could have such a plan? And what would he gain from 3 completely different murders?
Indeed, it seems unlikely that the same murderer committed all the crimes. What should we take from that? Just one murder was of benefit to the murderer. The others were just diversions. On reflection, there is only one conclusion. The murderer killed once out of interest, and twice to divert our attention. This reasoning points at 2 potential culprits.
Franklin Clark.
Donald Fraser?
Yes, mademoiselle. That's good thinking. Mr. Fraser may have killed Betty out of jealousy. Mr. Clark may have killed his brother in order to inherit his large fortune. Both have a motive.
But Donald did not have access to Dr. Clark's records.
Please allow me to disagree with you, mademoiselle.
But ってあり得るのかな
He works for Court and Brunskill, one of whose clients was Sir Carmichael.
It doesn't prove that I went to Comeside.
You could have done it, and you may have used the opportunity to take a look at Sir Carmichael's records.
You think I'm guilty?
You or Mr. Franklin Clark?
That's ridiculous!
Both of you have a motive. The question is, which of you has the profile that most resembles the murderer? Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
今のところ、助手は何の役もこなしていないが大丈夫か。ドナルドは知的か。ドナルドは自信家か。ドナルドは敵か。触ってんのかな。列車好き。あれ。
Ladies and gentlemen, Donald may share many character traits with the murderer, but he does not have his cold indifference. He has a temper. It is hard to imagine him planning anything. Also, jealousy is his motive, and crimes of passion are rarely planned.
Right, I suppose it's my turn to be subjected to the same scrutiny.
Absolument, Mr. Clark. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
助手一歩下がれ。い めっちゃ字ちっちゃかった今。これかな？違った。魅力的か？違うね。か？違う。違う、嘘。マジック。列車好きか。わあ。
As you have all seen, there is a disturbing similarity between Mr. Clark's profile and that of the killer. In actual fact, it is exactly the same.
Mr. Poirot, your psychological studies are interesting, but your conclusions do not add up. Why would I have wished my brother's death? The inheritance is lawfully mine. I just have to wait.
No, you had to act quickly. Because of Miss Gray. Mademoiselle, although you haven't been telling the truth, there is no doubt in my mind that you would have found a way to marry Sir Carmichael after Lady Clark's death. For you, Mr. Clark, it was a disaster. If Miss Gray had children by your brother, you would not have inherited a thing. You realized the danger after reading several letters from Comside, especially one in which your brother opened his heart to you. So you hurried home from China, and you took action. In truth, Cust was no more than a puppet manipulated by the real culprit. You, Mr. Clark.
Such an imagination, Mr. Poirot. In fact, nobody manipulated Cust. The famous instructions he received by post. He wrote them on the typewriter. We know that for sure.
Oh, no. You know perfectly well. That is not true. Eh bien, voilà. Light has now been shed on the ABC murders.
Your theories are ingenious, but you haven't any proof.
One point to him. For the moment, I have no material proof. Either I admit to it, or I bluff.
Bluff. Bats はないかな。罰はね。でも指紋も綺麗に出てそうだしな。アリス・アッシャーのタバコ店で発見された証拠を捏造する。近くで。
One thing proves it. A carton of placed cigarettes you stole from Mrs. Asher and found at your home.
You have nothing on me. You're bluffing, Mr. Poirot. Come on, Thora, there's nothing for us to do here.
Don't touch me.
Thora,
I understand why you never wanted to lend me your new typewriter, and why you were searching through your brother's things. And the hole you dug on the moors. What did you hide there? The knife you used to kill your brother?
All right. Well played. I lose. The game's up. Don't come near me!
空砲にしとけばよかった。
I'll never let you take me, Mr. Poirot.
あ、自殺しちゃう？しくったー。
Took the law into his own hands.
He had no right. He should have paid for his crimes. I should have expected what he did.
Come on, Poirot. Everybody makes mistakes.
Exactly. Hastings, if one day I sound pretentious, please whisper these 3 letters in my ear. ABC. They shall remind me that we all have our limits, even me.
待って待って。これで
Disappointed at having missed the chance to become Lady Clark, Thora Grey left England. Donald Fraser and Megan Barnard married. On Poirot's recommendation, Mary Drower started to work for Lady Clark. The elderly lady's condition suddenly took a turn for the better. And a few months later, to Dr. Logan's great surprise, she was back on her feet again. According to this eminent physician, it appears to be an extremely rare case of spontaneous remission. Lady Clark has enjoyed very good health ever since. Journal of an Innocent. The incredible story of ABC. As for A.B. Cust, after being advised by Poirot, he made a great deal of money by selling his story to the press. And as for me, and with business booming, the Black Swan has become the #1 tourist attraction in the whole of Yorkshire, even more popular than York Minster.
ディック・ドンバーって最後心臓病だった人かな。ダメだ、わからない。やだ、これ。最後の選択肢、ちょっと空砲にしたやつ、やりたいけど、オートセーフだから、全部やり直さなきゃいけないのかな。いやー、なんともスッとしないイヤミスって感じ。アガサクリスティってイヤミスの女王でしたっけ？ABC 殺人事件の本を地球で取り寄せようと思います。なんか操作性があまり良くなくて、思った通り動いてくれないポアロさん、走ってくれないポアロさん、ポアロさんとの戦いでしたね。まあダウンロード版だし、安かったし、いいんですけど、推理がね、なんていうか、メインは推理なんで、全くダメですね。私の動画見てて、選択肢最初からちゃんと当てれた人いたらコメントください。 ヒントじゃない。その、物的証拠とか証言の中からいくつか選んで、ポアロの推理を導いていくやつじゃない方の選択肢。あれ、選んだやつによって反応違うのかな？まあ、2周目はないかなって感じがしますね。とりあえず走ってくれないポアロさん辛すぎた。もうちょっと操作性が良かったら、やっても良かったんだけどな。ちょっと最後ね、空砲にしとけばよかったなっていうのが、ちょっと、あれなんですよね。ちょっとこれ、エンディングロール、スタッフロール飛ばして、リプレイできるかどうか確認してみようかな。できたら、スッキリするかもしれない。やっぱり犯人に死なれると負けですよね。プロファイル。あ、すごい。これ、あれじゃん。すごいめっちゃわかりやすい解説入ってるんじゃない？
Franklin Clark is unmasked. He is the true culprit and the man who manipulated Cust. And there we have it. Another case solved by Hercule Poirot.
ポアロってベルギー人のせいか、イギリス人というかイギリスなのだからか、英語の癖がすごいですね。あ、違うよ。あ、そういうことじゃない。取れてないやつがあるな。音声がフランス語かイギリス英語しかない。なるほど。やっぱ、分岐点からのリプレイができなさそうなので、ちょっとスッキリしないエンディングになっちゃいましたけど、ABC 殺人事件の配信は今回が最後とさせていただきます。ほんとスッキリしないですね。ではまた。 何か面白そうなゲーム見つけたら、あ、今ちょっと配信止まってる、リトルナイトメアとかね、アンティルドーンとかも進めたいと思ってますので、またよかったら見に来てください。ありがとうございました。